The house smelled of old paper, dried herbs, and quiet. Nikolai sat by the window, as he had every morning for the past 24 years. On the windowsill, beside the geranium, stood a picture frame, never dusty. He wiped it every Sunday, carefully, as if afraid to blur the smile in the photograph. Elena was laughing. Wind in her hair, the sea behind her softened by time and film, but he still remembered the exact shade of her dress. Lemon yellow. The same color as the tea in the cup that still sat in the china cabinet. The second one, just in case. They had shared 23 years. Not a film, not a grand romance. Ordinary life. A mortgage, colds, night shifts, arguments over an unplugged iron, reconciliations over cold dumplings. He hadn't loved her for perfection, but for her rough edges. For the way she scrunched her nose over crossword puzzles. For the off-key humming in the shower. For the afternoon she came home with soaked sleeves because she'd been feeding a stray cat by the building entrance. He loved her not as an ideal, but as she was. And when she left, it wasn't a catastrophe. It was just different. She didn't shout. Didn't slam the door. Just said softly, eyes on the floor, "I'm suffocating here. I need to breathe differently." He didn't try to hold her back. Not because he'd stopped loving her, but because he understood. Love that clutches by force ceases to be love. It becomes a cage. He walked her to the door, kissed the top of her head, as he had for years. Said, "If you ever want to come back, the key will be under the mat. If not, may you have what you need." She cried. He didn't. He saved his tears for later, for always. Over the years, friends urged him to move on. "You're still strong, Kalia. Don't bury yourself alive." He would nod, smile, steer the conversation elsewhere. His love hadn't faded. It had simply changed shape, stopped being an expectation, became a habit, a quiet ritual. He bought 2 theater tickets, then gave the second to a neighbor, made her borscht with beets and prunes, though he ate alone. In the evenings, he turned on the old record player, put on her favorite album, and sat in his armchair, listening to the crackle of vinyl blend with the stillness. He didn't wait for a call, didn't check the mailbox, didn't search for her online. He just loved. Without demands, without conditions. Like a tree that keeps giving shade, even when no one sits beneath it anymore. Time didn't erase her. It wove her into the air. He met her in passing scents rain on hot asphalt, a stranger wearing her favorite Krasnaya Moskva perfume in the metro, in unfamiliar voices on the street, in lines of books she'd once left open on the dining table. He didn't suffer. Suffering implies something can be reclaimed. He had accepted her leaving as one accepts the turning of seasons, with quiet respect for another's freedom. At 78, his heart began to falter. The doctor spoke of rest, of slowing down. Nikolai nodded, took his pills, but still walked to the window every morning. On the last April day, the sun shone just as it had on the day they first saw the sea together. He opened a small wooden box, took out a silk ribbon, faded blue. She'd left it draped over a chair the day she walked out. Not on purpose. Just let it slip. He never returned it. Couldn't. He pressed it to his chest. Inhaled. It smelled of dust and years. But behind his eyelids, where memory answers to no age, the sea appeared again. And her. Not the one who left. Not the guilty one. Just the one who lived. He smiled. For the first time in years, without bitterness. Only gratitude. He closed his eyes. His breathing grew even, quieter. On the nightstand lay a note. Not a farewell. Not a lament. Simply, thank you for having been. I loved. I love. I will love. Don't wait. Just know. The house stood on. The geranium bloomed. The second cup waited. Not as a reproach to the past, but as a quiet testament. Love that does not require reciprocity to exist does not die. It simply becomes light, steady, quiet, eternal.